This was supposed to be a normal session, but everything just kept getting worse. I had 3 races lined up, and I just wanted a clean session to build on last episode and to try and make up for the failure. This is Grip's Edge. Race 1 was the GR86 at Watkins Glen, a really fun track that has heaps of curbs that you can drive all the way over, which allows you to have just really fun and exciting racing. I don't know why it's so much fun to just drive over these curbs, but I had not practiced heaps. So I was starting in 15th position. I was able to get 1 position on the first corner with someone who didn't know they can take those off tracks. And I had some pretty close racing here, but you can see I just didn't know the line. I was getting close to the people in front, but then losing out on the straights because I didn't have the pace. So as I was racing, I was doing something that every single episode I say I'm not going to do again, which is learning how to race that track during the race. It's definitely not the right way to go, but I did have decent pace as I got on. You can see my delta at the top, it increases quite often, but there was close racing that probably didn't quite air itself to clean racing, like this here, getting a bit of contact and having to back off, almost crashing into the wall, and then getting overtaken by 2 cars. So it really wasn't the best way to race, and I always tell myself not to practice during the race to make sure my pace is good, and I just didn't listen to that this time. And at this point in the race, this is lap 3, I'm trying to force pace because I don't have it. And I'm being way too aggressive and defensive, and here, although this isn't my fault, you can see I'm turning fully to the left, this guy just turns into me, but I do completely kill that guy. I wreck him. Whose fault do you think this was? And his race is probably over now in last place. And also, I get overtaken. So I go from, I think, 14th place or 16th place, something like that, down to 17th. And the following laps, you can see I've got a second in that first couple of corners from my previous race, so I have a lot more pace that I'm unlocking as I'm racing, and that's why it's so sporadic, because I have to experiment with the lines, with braking, with all of that during the race, and that means that certain sections where people qualified with the same pace that I had, I'm actually learning how to do a lot faster. For example, here, this guy just turns right in because he brakes super early, because I have a better braking spot there than he does, but I can't maximize that. I can't take advantage because I don't have the pace throughout the rest of the lap, and because I'm stuck behind someone who we had the same track knowledge when I started, but now I have better track knowledge. So definitely the lesson from this race was do not race in a race if I haven't actually learnt the track and I'm not putting in some of the best times that I'm putting in, because otherwise what ends up happening is I just get stuck behind people, I make a mistake, and then I try and catch up, and I'm able to catch up, and then I make another mistake, and I don't have the pace in a different section, and it makes it very difficult to overtake. If you want to see me try out Le Mans Ultimate, or any special endurance races, or even try something different like the Beam NG career mode, I've been really interested in that. I would love to hear your feedback. If you just want to see me continue in iRacing, then I am always happy to just continue in iRacing. But here I'm trying to over push, I hit into the wall, it's my final lap, I lose this position to Green, who I've been battling with and overtaking and undertaking throughout the whole race, and of course I lose a position again to this guy. So definitely had pace, and it was actually quite fun, the race, because I was able to overtake and be overtaken, but I ended up finishing in a pretty average position of P13, I believe. And yeah, I ended up losing safety rating, losing I rating, almost 40 I rating, and 0.07 safety rating. Race 2 was in the Porsche Cup Car at Adelaide Street Circuit. This is my home race, my home lap, and I learnt from the last race, from Watkins Glen. I practiced and I practiced, but practicing doesn't help when everybody else crashes on turn 1. You can see it was just chaos. I tried to avoid it as best I could. I slowed down heaps, but there was honestly almost nothing I could do there. But I knew the track, so I knew I was good. I didn't have too much damage miraculously from that opening race. I got a 4X in contact just there, which was a bit of netcode. I didn't even hit the red Porsche in front. But I went from qualified P17 to, I think I'm 5th or 6th here. and there was someone turned around on the racetrack back there. That didn't even faze me. I did hit this guy though. Luckily no incident points. Well, that was chaos. And I make the remark, that was chaos because it was chaos. And I'm taking it pretty easy here. But I've put in a lot of practice, and so I'm pretty confident in my ability to drive this car, or my ability to know the track. But driving the car, I found really difficult. The Porsche Cup car, I don't know what it is about it, if it's the engine setup or the balance or what, but as soon as you lose a tiny bit of traction, you kind of spin out. And I do something that is a little bit silly here, and I try and go too wide into the final corner, which is always a terrible idea. And I do get a little bit of a push in the back there, but I managed to keep it on track and stay ahead. And in this place, we're going to cross the line and it'll update down the bottom. I'm in P10, so pretty good. Someone else crashes out, and then this happens. I crash, and there's no revs. My car is not going. And I think a meatball flag pops up eventually, but I can't make it back to the pits. There it is, the meatball flag. I can't make it back to the pits like this. And then I spin out on this corner, so I quickly tow back to the pits. And that was pretty depressing.
Are you serious?
Well, that was very unideal. I have a minute and a half, and there's no fast repairs on this as far as I can tell. Which means it's not going to be great. Pretty frustrating. Might as well watch some YouTube. That sucks. Nice. There's 6 minutes left in the race and 13 minutes of repairs. So I'm gonna quit. I'll see you guys later. Oh dear. So I decided to wait it out. I just watched a YouTube video and we're just gonna see what we can do. I want to minimize the I rating and safety rating loss if I can. Alright. And that is something that I'm pretty proud of. It wasn't actually 6 minutes left in the race, it was 6 minutes elapsed in the race. So I was able to hop straight back onto the circuit and continue racing after about 20 minutes. I think it was 15 or 16 minutes of pit service time. So I really enjoy this track. I know these streets because I drive them every day on the way to work. But, alright, let's lock in. But I had to make sure that I was locking in, and I really wanted to minimize the safety rating and I rating loss that I had from the previous Watkins Glen race and from last episode. If you were watching last episode and you saw me end on a negative 100 I rating score, that's because I qualified for a race and then I didn't actually race it. And I didn't think that really mattered because I didn't put in a qualifying lap. I just got out on the track and then thought, oh, you know what, I don't want to do this race because I'm not confident enough in the Porsche, and then I did some practice. But iRacing still counted that as a race, which means I came dead last, I didn't do any laps, and I think I had an off-track or a spin on the quali, like, outlap, so I still lost safety rating. Oh, it was terrible. So that was pretty tough, and so this race, honestly, it wasn't the worst. The spin was annoying, the crash was annoying, but race 3 is where it changes. Alright, so we are in the production car challenge, which means we have 3 different cars. We have the BMW M2, we have the GR86, and we have the Mazda MX-5. So, what that means in practical terms is that it's going to be chaos. I don't really know this track too well in this car. I have done some stuff before in on Formula V's and in this car, but when I first got the game and I was playing it, or the sim. But yeah, it's going to be chaos. We're going to see how we go. Hopefully I can pick up some pace during the race, which I tend to do in big, ones like this, where it's just about track knowledge and not about the car in the Porsche Cup, which I've just absolutely been destroyed in. I just don't know how to control the car properly, and I mean, I was just destroyed. But yeah, the pace isn't in me knowing the car, the pace is in me knowing the track. So yeah, we'll see how we go. Now, I'll meet you at the end of at the start line. And as you can see, I had the wrong attitude running into this race. I had predetermined that I was going to learn the track as we raced. And that was not the right attitude to have. I'd already discussed why this is a bad idea from Watkins Glen. So I really shouldn't have done that. But I was confident that I know the car. I've been racing it heaps. I've done this track a fair bit, just not in this car. So I thought, yeah, you know what, let's just go for it. But unfortunately, it didn't really turn out too well. As you can see throughout the race, I actually have pretty average pace, and it's just not the best. I'm going to show you the whole first lap, because this race doesn't really have intense racing after the first lap, so I'll be just cutting through them. Don't forget to like the video if you like what you've seen so far. So I just thought I'd show you what this racetrack is. You've got this beautiful long 3-corner left turn almost, which is really enjoyable, followed by I'm literally last when it comes to my class, followed by this beautiful little S and this really nice kind of high speed right turn that you get the exit here is really important because it's such a long straight, which I'm not a big fan of. So let's. And at the end of the straight, you've got a really tough braking zone because there's not very good markers, but this beautiful right turn followed by a left turn that hits a wide curb that you can take, which of course I didn't have the pace for, but a really, really fun track. And this is almost flat to the floor. You only have to lift very slightly. Right-hander, followed by whatever these right turns are, these fast rights that lead out to the long outside curb and a long start-finish straight. I really struggle with them. They're on many tracks, and I really, really struggle with them. As you can see here, this was a multi-class race, so the BMWs, they just book it down the straights. They're insanely fast, but they're very tail-happy, and so you'll see people just crash them all the time. And I gained some positions there, so that's actually pretty good. You can see here I take a terrible exit. I shift down to second accidentally. That actually means that I end up getting overtaken on the straight, which is not ideal, but it happens. I'd already gained enough places from the crashes where I wasn't behind from where I started. And if you want to see me get some redemption and some retribution, then please subscribe and follow along in my journey. I'm just doing terribly. I'm just slow. I should have done more practice. It's not the race. Bad luck over the last couple of days. And so on lap 4, I figure out exactly why I'm going slow. It's because I should have done more practice. And this BMW here, who I crash into, was so frustrating. This crash was really annoying because I had been following him for a whole lap, and I was probably double the speed in the corners, but in the straights he just whooped me every time. And so when he spun out on a corner in front of me, it was just demoralizing. Stopped in for a pit, which took 1:15, including a 30-second time penalty. Luckily in the GR 86 races and the production car challenges, you get fast repairs. But then this happens. And I think, you know what? Just my luck, coming out of the pit lane, second lap out, I crashed, and then I get another meatball flag. And I'm done. I don't want to wait in the pits again. You only get one fast repair from the first one, and I can't make it around this corner to the left. I just scrub on the fronts, obviously an alignment issue. I get another off track. And so this is what I do. And that was terrible for my safety rating and my I rating. So thank you so much for watching. Please like and comment